Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفى سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Dear viewers, welcome to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda. Our phone numbers beginning with the area code are 002-0238-555-249. Alternatively, area code 002-011-2500-8679, and the email address is ask@huda.tv. We welcome all your questions and concerns. Soon as you start ringing in, inshallah, we'll start answering your calls, inshallah. Meanwhile, I only had one pending question from Sister Sally concerning the whey powder, which is used whether in chocolate or sometimes as a source of protein for the bodybuilders and so on. After investigating the source of the whey, which is the rennet, we realize that it has one of two sources, either an animal source or a bacterial source. If it is an animal source, it could be any animal, especially the imported whey. Could be from pigs, could be from cattle, and it could be from cattle that have been slaughtered lawfully or killed or electrocuted. Then the animal itself is similar to the pig in its prohibition. And accordingly, its gelatin and its meat is forbidden to use, forbidden to consume. But if it is from bacterial source, then it is definitely permissible to use. So the customer has to verify the source of that product before consuming it to find out whether it's halal or haram. And if it is something that has any doubt in it, and you know that some non-Muslims who would consume it and they don't have a problem with that, you can pass it on to them as a gift, and there is no blame on you. Thank you, Sister Sally, and barakallahu fikum. The following question is concerning the prophets and the messengers, and whether they will be held accountable like human beings on the Day of Judgment or not. First of all, they are all human beings. Whether they will be held accountable or not, I just want you to pay attention to the lengthy hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ prophesies that 70,000 of his followers on the Day of Judgment shall enter paradise without previous reckoning nor punishment. لا يدخلون الجنة بغير سابقة حساب ولا عذاب. And the Prophet ﷺ explained to his companions the traits of those 70,000, or 70,000 and along with each one another 70,000, that they do not believe in bad omens, they put their trust in Allah the Almighty, وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ, and so on, لَا يَسْتَرْقُونَ وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. So if this is the quality of some of the followers of the prophets, I want you to imagine what would be the qualities of those whom Allah the Almighty chose to be His messengers, to deliver the message to His servants. In Surah Al-Imran, Allah the Almighty says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَى آدَمَ وَنُوحًا وَآلَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَآلَ عِمْرَانَ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. In this ayah, Allah says, most surely Allah have chosen. Then He made mention of some of the names of the prophets. Ibrahim, وآل عمران على العالمين. إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين. Over the rest of the living creatures. They are the chosen servants of Allah, the purified messengers. So are the best of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then if there are some ordinary servants who will not be held accountable and enter paradise without reckoning, then it is more worthy that the prophets have such honor. And I will quote a few verses after this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Ashfaq from United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Ashfaq.
Sheikh, I have two questions. My first question, when an imam is leading the prayer, does he get the same reward as the followers or he getting extra rewards?
Okay.
And my second question, when you are walking on the road, if a woman says salam alaikum, what should we do? We should reply the salam or we should not?
In which condition? Ashfaq? Yeah. Could you repeat your second question, please? Okay. Please try again your second question. I didn't get it. To reply the salam, in which condition? Okay. Sister Amra from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum assalam.
Welcome to the program. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I wanted to ask this question. Since these girls cannot shake boys, so I wanted to ask if you can shake your cousin.
You mean shake hands with boys, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you can shake hands with your cousin.
With whom?
Your cousin.
Your cousin. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, brother Ashfaq, you're back on the line. Assalamu alaikum. Ashfaq.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go ahead, brother.
Actually, what happened, Sheikh, yesterday, when I was just going for my Fajr Salah. I got down from the elevator and a woman came in front of me from the gate. The moment I saw, I just lowered my gaze and just walking from them. The moment she came, they said, Assalamu alaikum. So I don't know what to do with.
I know you should say, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There is no problem when you greet back a woman who says Salamu alaikum or even says hi, or a non-Muslim, even a woman who's not wearing hijab and she greets you and you greet her back. No problem.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakum. With regards to the Imam and whether he has a greater reward or not, that all depends. It all depends on whether the Imam is muhtasib, whether the Imam has a greater khushu' in his prayer than the followers, whether the Imam is sincere in his recitation or else. Because in Surah Al-Furqan, Allah the Almighty said that amongst the traits of the servants of the most beneficent, that they invoke Allah the Almighty to be what? وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, to be leaders for the pious ones. And to be a leader of the pious ones, that means you're superior to all of them. You are the best one of them. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. So that's a superior degree. But this is not necessarily the case with every person who's leading the prayer. Somebody is leading the prayer because he's getting paid 10 grand a night in Taraweeh. And we know some people who charge that much. And there are some people who are leading the prayer and reciting melodiously because they feel better when people admire them and say, I just love your recitation. I come to your masjid all the way from East London. I do this. So he's very pleased with that. Then he's not even better than any of a single child who's praying behind him. If the person, wastes the reward of his prayer, even if he's the imam or the speaker or the khatib, either by the means of showing off or liking to be admired, that will either diminish his reward or it would actually ruin his reward. But if the imam is righteous, is teaching the community righteousness and he's leading them properly in the prayer, the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, يَأُمُّ الْقَوْمَ أَقْرَأُهُمْ لِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ. So if the person whom we appointed or elected or assigned to lead us is the most knowledgeable one, then he is the better person. As it appears, as far as his relationship between him and Allah, that is something only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. As far as whether he is sincere in his prayer or not, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about that. Barakallahu fikum. Sister Amra from Nigeria, she says that I know that boys and girls cannot shake hands with each other because it is forbidden. What about shaking hands with a cousin. Shaking hands with a cousin is similar to shaking hands with me. Shaking hands with any stranger. Why? Because the cousin is not a mahram. Can I marry my cousin? It is possible. It is legal. I don't have to, but it is perfectly legal. In the very weird culture that we live in nowadays, that some people, they perceive marrying to one's cousin like gross, sick. He's like my brother, he's my brother. So this is lawful in every legislation, in every religion, but they perceive it as gross. I'm not talking about whether you have to or it's recommended. I'm not talking about any of that. It's simply lawful. So if it is lawful to marry any person, before marrying this person, you're not allowed to shake hands with him. You're not allowed to give him a hug. You're not allowed to be alone with him. You're not allowed to travel with him because he is not your mahram. How do you know that this person is not your mahram? If you can marry him, if it is possible legally from an Islamic perspective to marry him or her. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Rahma from the KSA. Brother Ahmad from the KSA. Sorry. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmad. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me, Ahmad? Okay, please try again. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. We have Sanu from Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Sanu. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Sheikh, I have two questions. My first question is, my friend wants to give zakat to her mother, and her mother is a Sayyad. So she wanted to know if she can give zakat to her. And my second question is that I've become religious and I've started to cover myself in the past 1 year. But a lot of people in social gatherings, they make fun of me now. And sometimes it becomes very hard for me to, go through all that. So I just wanted to ask you that in a situation like that, how should I react? That is all.
Thank you, Sister Sanu from Pakistan. Barakallahu fiki. All right. First of all, it is not permissible for one to give zakah to his own parents, nor to his own children, neither to the origin nor to the offspring. Only in some cases. Some cases such as if the parents or any of them was in trouble outside his or her control, or in debt such as al-gharimin, overwhelmed with debt, they cannot afford to pay it, then in this case the son may settle his dad's debt from his zakah. And the father can pay or assist the son to pay off his debt from his zakah. This is all permissible. But generally speaking, to pay for the basic needs, like if the parents are poor and in need, then it is a duty of their own children to support them financially if they are financially capable. All right, now Sister Sanu said, Alhamdulillah, she started covering up and wearing hijab, but in social gathering in Pakistan, the community or women started making fun of her, and that is affecting her and weakening her strength of iman and all of that. What if I tell you that when Satan said to Allah, when he promised to mislead human beings, and he said, أنظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال فإنك من المنظرين. Those ayat which we spoke about repeatedly before. Then Satan vowed to mislead human beings, and he said, وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. That he promised that most of human beings will not be believers, because shakirin also means not just grateful, but it is the opposite of belief. وَمَنْ يَشْكُرْ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لنفسه وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ فَإِنَّ رَبِّي غَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. The opposite of shukr is kufr. So وَلَا تَجِدُ أَكْثَرَهُمْ شَاكِرِينَ. means that most of human beings would not believe in Allah, would not be grateful to Allah, would not admit Allah's favors upon them. Most of people are not righteous. Even when it comes to within the circle of Muslims, those who are religiously committed are not the vast majority. Because of that, some of the predecessors used to say, "Oh Allah, make me of the few." Because Allah the Almighty always mentioned the believers and the righteous in the context of they are few. They are few. وَقَلِيلٌ مَا هُمْ وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. To be amongst the few whom sometimes the vast majority will make fun of is actually an advantage. It is a privilege. Because in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, Allah the Almighty says, and listen to these ayat, I hope the brothers can put them on the screen. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا كَانُوا مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يَضْحَكُونَ وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ يَتَغَامَزُونَ. Imagine, the wicked, they used to make fun of the believers. And whenever they pass by them, they wink at them. So they mock at them, they wink at them. And when they go home, they keep talking about them to their family members. I saw a fool today. I saw a woman today who was wearing hijab. She looked like a clown. She looked very funny. وَإِذَا رَأَوْهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ لَضَالُونَ. And when they see them, they think that they are in error. They think that they are going astray. Subhanallah. But the fact of the matter that those few, those who are believers and religiously committed are the successful ones. And that's why by the end of the surah, Allah the Almighty says, فَالْيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ يَضْحَكُونَ عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ هَلْ ثُوِّبَ الْكُفَّارُ مَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ. The day shall come in which the believers will be reclining on their couches, laughing at those who used to make fun of them. They would be reclining on their couches in paradise. They would laugh at whom? At the non-believers and at the wicked, those who used to make fun of them in the dunya. If the whole world is laughing at me because I'm keeping my beard, it would not affect me the least. They mocked the Prophet ﷺ, they laughed at him, they called him names. Who cares? As long as Allah the Almighty is happy with me. You're doing what Aisha used to do. You're doing what Safiya and Asma and Zainab and Fatima, the family of the Prophet ﷺ, used to do. Aren't you? You should be very proud of yourself. When I die in this condition, inshallah I'll be saved. While those women who expose their beauty and disregard what Allah the Almighty said, they are at a very big risk. And the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, صنفان من أهل النار لم أرهما. When they laugh at me, I feel pity for them. Wallahi, I feel sorry for them. The Prophet ﷺ said about you, lady or ladies, that because you're not wearing your proper hijab, you will not find even the fragrance of paradise. That's in the sound hadith. نساء كاسيات عاريات مائلات مميلات رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت لا يدخلن الجنة ولا يجدن ريحها. Allahu Akbar. Who should laugh at whom? But we do not laugh at people. We do not make fun of people. Rather, we feel sorry for them. We hope that Allah will guide them. That should not affect your iman the least. How to increase your iman and overcome all of that, whether in social gatherings or whatever, read the Quran. Ponder over its ayat. Listen to what Allah the Almighty says, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. On the day, everyone would run away from everyone else. You're going to run away from your daddy, from your mommy, from your lovely husband, from your own children. Everyone would say, myself, myself. Myself, myself. Everyone would abandon his loved ones. Why? Because this day is very horrible. What will benefit you is فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Whoever does a good deed, an atom weight of good deeds shall see it. And whoever does an atom weight of bad deeds shall see it. الأخلاء يومئذ بعضهم لبعض عدو إلا المتقين. The intimate friends, the very close friends, on the day would not recognize one another. They would be like enemies to one another, except those whose friendship was for the sake of Allah, because they were righteous. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Hisham from the KSA.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a question. In Ramadan, when I go to Masjid al-Nabawi to pray, I find all the females, they bring their small kids in front of them and they will be playing. The kids will be playing. And when they go out of their side, they just break the salah and bring the kids again in front of them and then start praying. Is it allowed to break the salah like this? I just wanted to know.
To break the salah to do what, Sister Hisham? You say...
Yeah, they just break the salah. I mean, they will go out and bring first the kids and bring them again, and then again they start the salah.
You mean they have kids?
Yeah, yeah.
And when the kids run away, they leave the prayer to bring their kids with them.
Hey.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Hisham. We do not mind bringing our kids or your kids to the masjid, but at least the child should be mumayyiz, should understand that this is a masjid, we should keep quiet, and whenever we start the prayer, they should calm down, either they stand next to us or they stand amongst the minors all the way in the rear, if they are praying with men, or in front of women, so they keep their eyes on them. But bringing a child who is very active or hyperactive, who runs around between the rows and disturb the prayer of hundreds of people, it is not proper. It is not right to do that, especially in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, because we know that thousands of people are attending the prayer. And a single child, whether because of crying or because of running back and forth, can disturb all the musallin. So if there is a chance that to keep the child at the hotel room or at home until they reach the age where they understand that we have to respect the masjid, we should do that. But in case that a mother brought her child and the child ran off, and she is worried that she may miss him, she may leave the prayer in this condition because it's a danger. The child may leave the masjid, may get lost, and that will cause a greater disturbance. Prevention is better than cure. Barakallah feek, Sister Hisham. Now, if you remember, the first question that we started talking about was whether the messengers will be questioned on the Day of Judgment or not. So I mentioned if some of the righteous servants, the followers of the messengers, will be exempt from reckoning and shall enter paradise without any previous questioning, or accordingly, if there is no questioning, then there is no punishment, there is no blame. Then the prophets are more worthy to have such status, to enter paradise without previous reckoning. But there is an ayah in Surah Al-A'raf, number 6, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَنَسْأَلَنَّ الَّذِينَ أُرْسِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ وَلَنَسْأَلَنَّ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Ayah says, we shall then ask those whom we have sent to them, messengers, and we shall also ask the messengers. Some of the commentators of the Quran rely on this ayah as a reference that everyone will be questioned. Similarly, in Surah Al-Hijr, number 92, Allah the Almighty says, فَوَرَبِّكَ لَنَسْأَلَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. By your Lord, we shall ask them all about what they used to do. But this is not necessarily a reference to say that the prophets also will be questioned, because this is generally speaking, but there are some exemptions. Some people are exempt from as-su'al on the Day of Judgment. As I mentioned, the case of الَّذِينَ لَا يَسْتَرْقُونَ وَلَا تَطَيَرُونَ وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ, and the prophets are more worthy. But the ayah also means the kind of question which is presented by the end of Surah Al-Ma'idah. يَوْمَ يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ الرُّسُلَ فَيَقُولُ مَاذَا أُجِبْتُمْ قَالُوا لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. Allah the Almighty is quoting upon us what will happen on the Day of Judgment when Allah assembled and gathers all people. يَوْمَ يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ الرُّسُلَ, on the day when Allah gathers الرُّسُلَ. فَيَقُولُ مَاذَا أُجِبْتُمْ, what happened to you and to your da'wah? How did people respond to your da'wah? قَالُوا لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. So the prophets will say, you know better. You know the unseen, we have no knowledge. That's a very smart answer. So there was a question. Yes, that is the kind of question which will be presented to them. Also, Allah the Almighty says, وَإِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ أَأَنْتَ قُلْتَ لِلنَّاسِ اتَّخِذُونِي وَأُمِّيَ إِلَٰهَيْنِ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ قَالَ سُبْحَانَكَ مَا يَكُونُ لِي أَنْ أَقُولَ مَا لَيْسَ لِي بِحَقٍّ إِن كُنتُ قُلْتُهُ فَقَدْ عَلِمْتَهُ تَعْلَمُ مَا فِي نَفْسِي وَلَا أَعْلَمُ مَا فِي نَفْسِكَ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ عَلَّامُ الْغُيُوبِ. Allah will ask Jesus the son of Mary on the Day of Judgment. And He already knows best. But this is to verify the truth before all the different parties, the prophets and the people whom the prophets have been sent to them. And then they rejected their message. Ya Isa, O Jesus the son of Mary. Allah will ask him, أَأَنْتَ قُلْتَ لِلنَّاسِ اتَّخِذُونِي وَأُمِّيَ إِلَٰهَيْنِ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Did you ask people to worship you and your mother instead of Allah? Isa alayhi salam will answer, Subhanak, glory be to you. You're free from any imperfection. You're above what they describe and ascribe to you. It is not befitting for me to say anything which is not my right. إن كنت قلته فقد علمت. Look at the answer. So the Prophet Isa say, had I said it, you already know it. You would have known it. تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك. You even know what is in my heart, and I do not know what is in yours. إنك أنت علام الغيوب. So there will be questioning, but not about their deeds and bad deeds and good deeds and thawab and iqab, and there is a possibility that their bad deeds may outweigh their good deeds, so they will have to enter hellfire to be purified. No, this is not the case with the prophets. Allahu yastafi min al-malaikati rusulan wa min al-nas. Those people are already chosen by Allah to guide people. So the su'al which is presented in ayah number 6 in Surah Al-A'raf, or ayah number 92 of Surah Al-Hijr, is the questioning of what happened between you and your nations. Like Nuh alayhi salam, Allah the Almighty will ask the people of Nuh, didn't my prophet Nuh come to you and deliver the message to you? Allah is the one who sent him. Allah is the one who stated in the Quran, فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا خَمْسِينَ عَامًا. He said that he spent with them 950 years. Does Allah need to ask them? Doesn't. Does Allah need to verify that from Nuh alayhi salam? He doesn't. But this is the court of justice on the Day of Judgment. وَنَضَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. No one will be wronged and ought. So give them the right to defend themselves. So Nuh alayhi, they will say, no. Nuh didn't tell us anything. 950 years. No wonder that when you talk to people today and they behave like they're deaf and dumb. If you're talking to lifeless objects, they may respond. If you've been talking to somebody, a wife is begging her husband to stop smoking, it's harmful, it's carcinogenic, start praying, and he's negligent, like she's speaking to an idol. And on the Day of Judgment, he will act like, nobody told me. Nobody told you. Yeah, they will deny that Nuh alayhi salam spent 1,000 years except minus 50. 950 years. Now we haven't seen him. Allah will ask Nuh alayhi salam, did he deliver my message? He will answer in the affirmative. Do you have a shahid? Yes, I do. I have a witness. People of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah will ask the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, do you testify with Nuh that he delivered the message to his people? Yes, we do. How do you know? Well, you revealed in the Quran that إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ. We have sent Nuh unto his people. And also you said that فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا 50 عَامًا. You even told us that he spent 950 years. And you even informed us in Surah Nuh, how surah is called Surah Nuh, that Nuh alayhi salam complained to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, رَبِّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ قَوْمِي لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا. That I have called them unto you, invited them to monotheism, لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا, morning and evening. Subhanallah. Okay, let's take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes with some more questions. Please stay tuned.
Huda TV's social media sites are the best way to contact us from anywhere around the world. Stay connected with Huda TV's latest news and programs through Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Skype, and Instagram. It's fast and easy. Stay up to date with your favorite shows and scholars today. Huda TV, a light in every home.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Welcome to another live edition of Huda Tonight. This program provides some of the latest news and information from around the Muslim world and also discussions about topics that are important for Muslim life.
Brothers and sisters, the Islamic perspective on divorce. It's an outlet which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made halal for any relationship that has gone sour or an abusive relationship. But this principle of divorce has its rules and has its procedures.
For our first news item for the news segment tonight, we're going to go to the United States, the state of Kansas, the Muslim community there in the United States, the state of Kansas. The city is Kansas City.
Is communication. In order to communicate, you have to make sure that exactly you tell or you told the other or the partner the real thing about yourself.
Tonight we're going to talk about, inshallah, Abdullah ibn Abbas. And what I wanted to start off with, you know, we all know that he was very young when the Prophet ﷺ passed away. So let's start from the beginning, from his youth.
Time is very important and precious. Many of us in our youth and the Muslim Ummah doesn't know the value of time. And even if we think we know, sometimes we face difficulty and challenges understanding and managing your schedule on a daily basis.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Our first caller in the second segment is Brother Kabir from Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum, Kabir.
Alaikum assalam, ya Sheikh. Alaikum assalam. How are you, ya Sheikh?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. Welcome to Ask Huda.
Yeah, I have two questions.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, one is concerning zakat on rental income.
Mm-hmm.
How do you calculate? I know is always 1/40, but the timing, if you are getting your rent on annual basis, is it at the beginning or at the end of the period that you will calculate the rate and then pay out the cut?
Okay, your second question, please.
The second question is about interest. You know, if, for example, your bank is paying you interest and you don't want to use it because it is not permitted in Islam, what purpose can you apply that to, or can you leave it to the bank?
To pay or not to pay you interest?
Huh?
Is it a conventional bank which already pays interest?
Yes, if you put your money in the in the account, they normally pay you interest.
So
and you don't use it for 30 days or more, they calculate interest and...
Okay, I got your question. Thank you, Kabir. Is there any due zakah on the rent which is generated from renting a property? Well, if you have any amount of money which is zakatable, and I mean by the term zakatable, that is equivalent to a nisab, the value of the 85 gram of gold or the 595 gram of silver, and you have a fixed date which you pay zakah on every lunar year, then whenever it is due to pay zakah on what you have, you include the profit which is generated from renting the property. And you deduct from that, of course, all the utilities and the expenses of fixing the property and the taxes and all of that. So whatever is already paid is exempt from the zakah. Then you calculate the total sum of what you already have. I mean by having as saving in an account or as an investment, or you keep it in a safe in your house, all the cash and the stocks and the shares which you possess, and you pay zakah on all of that at once whenever it is due to pay zakah. That is the easiest way to pay your zakah on a regular basis without missing anything. Sometimes during the 2 periods between the time you started making the nisab or the time that you paid your zakah and the next year due date of paying zakah, you may actually, the person may lose everything and he becomes grounded. He has no money. But a few weeks before, he recovers this money again, or he makes a profit. So as long as it is within the same period, you pay zakah, whether it goes up or down. Bottom line is, whenever it is a due date to pay zakah, even a few days before the due date, you received an income because from the rent, from any business that you do, then automatically this money is zakatable with the rest of your possession which you pay. It's zakah on that fixed due date. That fixed due date varies from an individual to another. Somebody started making a nisab or possessing a nisab in the middle of Muharram. Somebody else is born rich. From the time he or she were born, they already have money, or orphans. They inherited money. So the zakah is due on their wealth from the moment that they possess that, even if they themselves were under the age of puberty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Samra from the KSA, welcome to Ask Huda.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I have 3 questions actually.
Yeah?
My first question is regarding in Islam, is between marital relationship, is there any sexual abuse? I mean to say, if a wife is hating her husband and she wants to depart, but the husband doesn't give her divorce and she thinks she is being abused. Then my next question...
No, wait a minute, Sister Samara. You spoke about marital relationship and you mentioned specifically sexual abuse, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a difference between sexual abuse and the husband is abusing her outside the sexual relationship. I would like for you to be specific.
Yeah, my question is regarding her wife. With her wife, because her wife, she is not happy with her, she hates her, and she doesn't want to be with him. And she asked for the divorce because it is his authority to give divorce, and he is not giving her divorce.
Okay, I got that part. Could you tell me the reason? Why is she...
sorry, I can't hear.
Why is she asking for divorce?
There are many reasons.
Okay. Well, Sister Samura, let me tell you this. First of all, Allah the Almighty gave the man the right to divorce the wife, and He entrusted him with this authority. And He said, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. And He said in a whole surah which is named after الطلاق, يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة. Okay, so He addressed the Prophet, إذا طلقتم, so He gave the authority of divorce to men. But women also do have the right to ask for divorce. And if the husband is not cooperating, is not recognizing what is wrong with him, or whether he's abusive or not, then she has the right to take her case to the court. The court would give her what is known as fasakh. There is also another condition in between which is known as khula, that if the problem is with the wife, that the husband is decent, the husband is a good man, but she doesn't like him, she feels like she cannot live with him, her heart doesn't go for him, period, and she's afraid that she's not going to be dutiful to him, then in this case she may ask for khula. And al-khul' is treated as fasakh. It's irreversible, irrevocable. Al-khul' is a divorce for a compensation, that she gives him back his dowry and his gifts. And as the Prophet ﷺ said to this lady companion, وَتَرُدِّينَ عَلَيْهِ حَدِيقَتَهُ, and she accepted. So he said, take back your garden, وَطَلِّقْهَا تَطْلِيقًا. And this talaq is irrevocable. Why? Because it's a talaq or a divorce for a compensation. He got paid, he got his dowry back, he got whatever he paid her back. But if he's not cooperating and he refuses, then you have the right to file for divorce, but while having legitimate reasons. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, on the other hand, if any woman were to ask for a divorce without a legitimate reason, she will not find the fragrance of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Aisha from the KSA.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have a question. If we lose something, we say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Is there any authentic reference to this?
The Quran itself is a reference to that. Then there is also sound ahadith in that regard. The Quran says, الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ أُولَئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ وَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. That is in Surah Al-Baqarah. Whenever they're afflicted with any calamity, and you said, if I lose something, if you break your glass, if you have a flat tire, if you lose a loved one, if one's house is burned, if they get fired, if they get laid off, if they get divorced, whatever, that's a calamity, isn't it? In the previous ayah, Allah the Almighty says, we most certainly shall try you with some of fear and hunger, loss of wealth, souls and fruits. So this is a variety of losses. Sah. Every human being is tested by any of these means, and sometimes by all of them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says afterward, why we're being tested? وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. Give glad tidings to the patients. Those whom whenever they are afflicted with a musibah in the indefinite, any musibah, any calamity, they say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That's the reference, and it should be more than enough. Alright? Thank you, Sister Aisha from the KSA. The following question is, we recently heard that some scholars said it is sufficient to say La ilaha illallah to enter paradise, even if you don't say Muhammadur Rasulullah. Well, whoever says so disbelieves in Allah and in His Messenger. Whoever claims so does not believe in the Quran and what it says, and does not believe in what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How could you say that? This is how it is. Because if you say, I believe in Allah, how did you know Allah? May I ask you, how did you know about Allah? Well, the Quran. And who brought the Quran to you? Muhammad. But I don't believe in Muhammad. Then you don't believe in the Quran. Stop playing games. There are some people who have been prepared for years and years and years, so that one day they will wear a turban to confuse Muslims. You know, the enemies of Islam invest tremendous amount of effort and wealth on preparing such people. In addition to, there are already volunteers who are willing to sell their deen very cheap for whoever pay anything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned about the scholars of the people of the book repeatedly in the Quran about them and how they purchase the dunya for the deen. They are يشترون بآيات الله ثمنا قليلا. That was them, and the Quran exposed them, and it's also in our ummah. Well, you're belying Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Because number one, Allah the Almighty says in the Quran, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. There is only one religion that Allah recognizes as religion, as His deen, which is Al-Islam. What is Al-Islam? Al-Islam is based on 5 pillars. The first pillar is the kalima, ash-shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And I just said the kalima. And all Muslims, they say the kalima. The kalima, the word kalima in Arabic means word. Word. One word. But ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah is more than one word. That's 8, 9 words. Correct. But it is called a word because it is all intact, and we must keep its integrity. Every word of it is inseparable and indivisible from the whole statement. Allah the Almighty says in Surah Ibrahim, يُثَبِّتُ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِالْقَوْلِ الثَّابِتِ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. القول الثابت, the firm statement, is La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Allah will keep firm the believers in this life and in the hereafter with the firm statement. The firm statement agreed upon it is to say La ilaha illallah. As long as you say it in the dunya, you will also manage to say it at the time of death. And in al-akhirah, once the person dies in the grave, the angels will ask him, مَنْ رَبُّكَ وَمَا تَقُولُ فِي الرَّجُلِ الَّذِي بُعِثَ فِيكُمْ. So the person will say, Rabbi Allah, my Lord is Allah, and the man who has been sent to me is whom? I don't know. Fails. He fails. He fails. Why? Because it is incomplete. The kalima and the shahada is indivisible. Whoever says it is sufficient to say La ilaha illallah to enter paradise is a plain liar. And he is belying what Allah stated in the Quran. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. Which messenger? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. We all believe in whom? In Allah, His angels, His messengers. We make no distinction between any of His messengers. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about Thamud, that كذبت ثمود المرسلين, that they belied al-mursaleen. Al-mursaleen, they received only one messenger, while the word al-mursaleen is plural. Yes, because whoever belies a single messenger or denies his prophethood has disbelieved in all the messengers. And in order to be a true believer, you must believe in all the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the pillars of Iman? أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله. All the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, we just ran out of time. Until next episode, I leave you all in Allah's care. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech.